All right, welcome back to the Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. I'm with Glenn, everything Arsenal, and we are gonna be discussing the player ratings, going through the player ratings for Arsenal up against Manchester United. We won a very hard game away from home after losing to Leicester City, being beaten by Manchester City. Nobody gave us a chance. No one would actually give us a chance, but we were outrageously so good. You can use all the words you want in the world. We bullied Manchester United. We pocketed Manchester United. We schooled Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just couldn't. I think we had a laugh. That's the real word. We had a laugh against Manchester United. The diamond, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United anticipated would break us down. We actually smashed the diamond. So we are going to be doing the player ratings from goalkeeper to the strikers. Make sure you are in the you're in the chat and you're giving me your player ratings as well, because for me there isn't any other performance we are going to have this season at the Old Trafford better than this. We might have other performances at other stadiums, at the Emirates Stadium or wherever the stadiums might be, but against United at the Old Trafford, it doesn't get better than this. Partey, Gabriel, Elneny, master class. And, Glenn, before we jump into the match, the match ratings, what is your reaction to the game?
I did not know. I did not know whether to scream, whether to order food. I just wanted to celebrate it some kind of way because we've waited so long, man. We've waited so long. Even the moment he put on the board 4 minutes added time, I was like, no, please don't ruin it right now, because you always don't trust Arsenal to defend for that last 5 minutes, 6 minutes. We were under attack, under pressure. So for the game itself, I was really happy that we actually kept a clean sheet, not just a win. We kept a clean sheet. And we actually created more chances, I think, in this game more than the last two games combined or something, apart from the Dundalk game. So that was a positive. At least we saw us creating chances. We got a win at Old Trafford. And I'm hoping this is a momentum builder heading into the other games. Aston Villa next, Leeds next. I hope it's a momentum builder. Really happy with Partey and Gabriel. That shows you when you buy players, you get what you buy. If we had, let's imagine we didn't have Partey, we'd have had Elneny and Xhaka, and you didn't have Gabriel, we'd have had Mustafi and Holding, the game would have been different.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. We had, what a game we had. What a game we had. For me, the best performance for this season. It is the best performance for this season. Every player worked towards the same goal, winning. Winning the ball, having it, creating chances, doing what was right at the right time in the right place was just enough for me. But I want to jump into the player ratings because for me in my country it is getting late. I'll start with Ban Leno. He didn't have much to do. Obviously, he didn't have much to do. He had one. I think there was only one threat, which was the shot from Mason Greenwood. I think he handled it very well. Reading it early, and it was close to the near post. Of course, there wasn't any problems with dealing with it. So I thought that I think that was much he had to do. The rest of the work was dealing with corners and swinging in the air, which is which I expect him to do without making mistakes. I'm really happy he did make a mistake. He kept a clean sheet. Out of 10, I decided to give him 7 out of 10. I think his performance was brilliant, but on a night that he never had much to do, 7 out of 10 was only fair for him. How much do you award him?
I agree with that. Clean sheet at Old Trafford. I think this is the first clean sheet we've kept there since like 2010, a long time. And that's those last 10 minutes, the way you'd handle the ball, and then he just drops with it and wastes 1 minute. I loved that. I love that. Take the ball, frustrate those Manchester United fans, frustrate them completely. He looked comfortable in the ball today, no mistakes, accurate to the long ball. So for me, Leonard, today, I agree with 7. I don't know if you give halves. Do you give halves? 7.5?
It's okay.
7.5.
The 7.5. Right. That is Leno for you. 7.5. I've given him a straight 7. The back three looked so brilliant. They tracked the Manchester United forward line as if they knew that these guys were going to be, to play like this. I know I just loved Rob Holding. I just loved Chianti, and I loved Gabriel Magalhaes. But let's start with Rob Holding. He was returning back from injury. His first game, from injury. I think he got injured in the warm-up against Manchester City, so he didn't play there. David Luiz was the man that had to substitute him. He comes back against Manchester United. United on form. United, everyone expected to beat us. He's going to play against Marcus Rashford, a man who secured a hat-trick against Leipzig inside the week. It was never going to be, it was never going to be easy for him. It was never going to be easy for him, but fortunately enough, he gets the better of Marcus Rashford. For me, this is crazy, but I'm giving him a 9 out of 10. Until he gets off the pitch, he does nothing wrongly. Actually, the first thing he does, he doesn't cross over. He doesn't cross the center mark. He says, "Okay, I'm not going to cross the center mark. Let me track Marcus Rashford. Let me stop his runs." He stops his runs. Rashford is so deadly when he can run through, and that is what most teams don't know. They think he's clinical. They think he's masterclass and superb, but if you restrict his runnings, if you restrict him from running across, he's dead wood. He's actually dead wood. And Rob Holding, showed us today. He gets the ball, tackle him, take him to the ground. He's running, pull his shot. I think Rob Holding, for me, 9 out of 10. He did absolutely brilliantly. Rashford was was the man to watch for Manchester United on the forward line. You stop him, you make him look like a P2 kid, you take him to school. I don't ask anything better than that from a defender. 9 out of 10. I'm really excited about his performance, especially coming back from injury.
I'm going to lower that. I'm going to give him an 8. Defending against Rashford, perfect. Defending against Greenwood, perfect. But the first 15 minutes, there's a couple of times he had some silly fouls, and he kept on playing with Mike Dean, and he had like 3 silly fouls, and then his fourth one, he had to pick up a yellow card. So when you get a yellow card at Old Trafford that early, it puts you under pressure. So because of those silly yellow cards, silly fouls in the first half, he's going to get an 8. But defending, perfect 8.
Yeah, thank goodness. I was so happy when I saw him ahead of Squadron Mustafi. I was like, yes, now we are getting the better of it, because Mustafi. I was really, I was waiting to see Mustafi's name on the lineup, but I never wanted to see it. That is the truth. I never wanted to see it, but I was waiting for it. I was like, no, Mustafi. But he wasn't there, and I'm going to commend him for his performance. Playing with the yellow card. You get the yellow card early in the game. You keep your temper. You keep your discipline. He was so disciplined. That is one of the reasons. That's why actually I know he qualifies for a 9 for me. And my 10 out of 10. I have 2 10 out of 10s today. My first 10 out of 10 goes to Gabriel Magalhaes. I mean, we were saying who's better, Gabriel Magalhaes or Maguire, but I think the difference has shown itself today. Magalhaes, the guy, aerial duels, his masterclass. Ground duels. There was one against Matic, that clean, tackle, and Matic was like, "This is a penalty. This is a penalty," and I was like, "Shut up, man. That's not a penalty. That's a clean tackle, man. That's a clean duel." I loved Gabriel Magalhaes. The discipline. Yes, I know he picked up a yellow card, which I think was, for me, a little bit more direct in front of the referee, and then you're pulling a guy's shot down. That's a straight yellow card. He should have had a red card. It is true. He should have had a red card on any other day. That is he must have got booked twice, because that that tackle against Mason Greenwood in the corner flag, it didn't look so good. I think he was lucky to get away with that. But with the overall performance, when Manchester United used the aerial, view, he was there under watch. When they went down, he was there. When they decided to play, have the ball on their feet, he was always attacking them, making them lose possession. For me, I think he was, absolutely brilliant. 10 out of 10. I didn't see anything he did wrongly for me. Nothing. The discipline was there. The brilliance, the technicality, everything was on spot.
Loved it. I loved him, man. As I've said, you get what you buy, and that is another player. Gabriel, There was that for Matic. There was that also, that second yellow card that was supposed to be a second yellow card. But the best one for me was, I think it was 94th minute, 30 seconds remaining, and he tackled and he drove with the ball forward, won a
Yeah,
foul for us, and we got a free kick and we
yeah,
finished the
yeah.
game there. That was brilliant. I was watching the game, the Chelsea fans, and they were so happy. They were like, you guys actually bought a good defender for once." So his ability on the ball, technique, he's big, he's tall. Every time we go to Old Trafford to these teams over the years, we have little Wilshire, little Ramsey, little Monreal, and we can't handle the physicality of now Gabriel, Partey, the team is looking different. Strength, strength, strength. So they can't bully us. So 10, I don't know about 10, but I'll give him 9.5 because if we
N-
got a
n-
red card, that would have put in us so much pressure.
yeah, I
9.5.
know. And I think that tackle against Greenwood was miscalculated. There was no intention in fouling him, but it was
Yeah.
miscalculated. And I think the referee was trying not to give anyone a red card. Keep players 11 against 11. Yeah, but for me, I'm giving him a 10. Kian Tierney, the man who goes with an 8 in that centre back, in that back three, I think he was good going forward. He played so well with Aubameyang and Saka on that left wing. Going forward, he was always there. He brought in a couple of crosses, which I loved so much, which I really, really loved so much. Defensive wise, I think there wasn't much work for him to do. Yeah, there was a time when Mason Greenwood got the better of them and pulled the shot away, which Lane actually had, to save. But I think, yeah, 8 out of 10. He does, I think his performance against Leicester City, he improved at least by 50%, because he wasn't so good against Leicester City, but against Manchester United, he looked brilliant. 8 out of 10. I'll go for an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, the last 7-8 years where we've been losing to Man U, we had almost the same players: Matasaka, Koscielny, Monreal, Ramsey, Wilshire. But these ones, they've never played away to Man U. Okay, Tierney last season, I don't even know if he played away to Man U, but these are new players: Tierney, Gabriel, Partey. So Tierney again today showed us that they don't fear playing Man U. These are new players. He's from Celtic, showing us he can play as a centre back, he can play as a left back. He can actually even become captain one of these days when the likes of Luis and Aubameyang aren't there. So I agree with 8 for him. Very, very solid performance. That wing, I think if United were playing like with the 4-2-3-1 that they used to play with, Greenwood on the right would have been harder. But he did his job. He did what he had to do. Drove forward a couple of times. We even saw Elneny covering as a centre back. So Tierney 8 for today.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 as well. I loved his performance. In the midfield, where the Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't appear today because the diamond was smashed at the beginning of the game. I don't know what kind of diamond that was, but they were a crooked diamond with Pogba. They had Scott McTominay. I just looked at them and was like, what did they even come to do? I loved DT's comment on FTV. Said when Manchester United got home after Leipzig, they emptied everything. They emptied their pockets. They emptied Pogba. They emptied Bruno Fernandes. They emptied Van der Beek, and they came against Arsenal. Literally empty, and I think they were really empty. The midfield, my man of the midfield masterclass, Thomas Partey. 50 million euros, 45 million pounds, deadline day signing, check number 18, the biggest player on the pitch. He pockets Pogba, he pockets Bruno, he pockets, Scott McTominay, he pockets Fred. He's having a laugh. He was just having an easy game for him. He, get the ball, pass it around, get it back, pass it around, pass it to the left, change the wings, pass it to the right, get it now, pass it in the middle, get back to your defenders, hold up play, switch. Oh my God, Thomas Partey. It was really a party. Like Peter Drury said, Partey was ready for the party, and Pogba was ready to sweep up after the party. Beautiful, Thomas Partey, the African international, Ghanaian international, beautiful scenes, a 50 million, player. destroying a 90 million player plus another world-class Bruno Fernandes. For me, it doesn't get better than that. I don't know. He's my second 10 out of 10 today. I think Partey, defensive wise, you know, when we didn't have the ball, you thought, this guy is a real CDM. And when we had the ball, you thought, yeah, he's a real box to box. And you tell him, you ask yourself, how far is this guy talented? How far does his, talent go? For me, 10 out of 10. I think I should give him, something like more than 10, but it's the limit. It's the limit. He has just to get 10 out of 10. Midfield, defensive wise, going forward, what did he do? What did he do on that pitch? What's your take on Partey?
Thomas Partey, what a player. What a player. 10 out of 10. 10
Absolutely.
out of 10. Like, there's also a Peter Drury comment where he said it shows he's not just a player who's there to tackle. He can tackle and move with the ball. There's a time in the first half where he made a tackle and passed Fernandes and passed Pogba. That should have been a goal. So that, and also dominating Pogba, as you've said, Fernandes, Fred in the middle, McTominay, didn't make any mistake at all today. His long balls. There's a long ball he gave to Bellerin. I was like, beautiful. Another one he gave it to Tierney, beautiful. There's also a shot he took, and the keeper saved the gear in the first half. In the second half, that was a very good shot.
Yeah.
So he can do everything for us. So we can now see the quality we've bought. It has to be a 10 out of 10. No mistakes. Dominate the midfield. We've cried for our midfield all these years, and he showed us today. Didn't even pick up a yellow card. He knows how to do it. So 10 out of 10. Thomas everything for.
Yeah, I really loved his performance. I really, really loved his performance. I hope he can keep that up. If he can keep that up, I think he's going to be one of the most dangerous midfielders this world, has ever seen. Mohamed Elneny, to which most people think, he's the right partner. Eventually, he's the right partner for Thomas Partey. I think Mohamed Elneny for me gets a 9 out of 10. I think basically he did what was right to play with Partey. Whenever Partey went forward, he was calm enough to stay back. Whenever Partey was back, he was, he went forward. I think that's what you have to do. That's how, you need to complement each other in the midfield. And this is what Granit Xhaka, Dani Ceballos, and, don't do when they're playing with Thomas Partey. They actually don't acknowledge his presence on the pitch. You just have to complement each other. Partey is a very versatile player. He's a very aggressive player. When he's going forward, you need to stay back. You need to give him the cover. When he decides to stay back, then you need to go forward. I think Mohamed Elneny did that. But apart from that, he tried to cover up all the spaces that Partey couldn't cover, because literally Manchester United had four midfielders. And Partey couldn't cover all of them at once. Elneny did the extra work, the hard work. The extra hard work was done absolutely well by Mohamed Elneny. What you have to do, I'm holding Pogba, then you hold Bruno Fernandes. If I'm holding, McTominay, then you hold Fred. I think this, Elneny did it very well. He was very calm. He never lost the ball. Very calm, pass around, do the easy thing. Who's next to you? Partey, pass to him. Who's next to you? Like I said, pass to him. Who's next to you? Willian, pass to him. And I think he played very well with Willian up on the right side. I'm gonna give him a 9. He played so well in complementing Thomas Partey today.
I think that is the best I've seen Elneny playing in an Arsenal shirt. Seeing him in that game, I was like, what were you even talking about selling him? He was one of the players I wanted to go before Partey comes. He was brilliant today. He could actually, I was about to start blaming Arteta for dropping Xhaka for Elneny, because we've talked about this before, Xhaka covering the left back and stuff. But he did not make any mistake. Same with Partey. He picked up the ball, moved forward. His passing, there's a through pass he made for Bellerin. I think he's the one who made that pass for Bellerin where Aubameyang just missed it in the foul post.
Yeah.
Right. So him and Partey combination, I wouldn't even change it. I'd start them again in the next couple of Premier League games. And
Yeah.
just like that, you might. Okay, I don't think he'll start both of them when you're playing at home to, let's say, Aston Villa. He'll start more of a Sabias attacking. But when you're playing like this, Leeds away, Everton away, Tottenham away, this is the partnership to go with. They played very well today. Elneny, as I always say, best Egyptian in the Premier League. 9, I agree with you.
But how did you feel when Mikel Arteta included him in the starting lineup?
I wasn't sure about him. I can actually see him on TV right now. He's the one who gave the pass to Willian, and then Willian to Bellerin, and then to Aubameyang. He looked very comfortable on the ball. He shut out Rashford. I can see a tackle he made on Fernandes. I wasn't sure about him. I thought Xhaka would definitely start, but I thought there was no reason for starting him. Maybe because of his performance against Dundalk, but it was Dundalk, so you'd imagine like this is Man U away. They just beat Leipzig 5-0, PSG, Newcastle. So I wasn't sure. So I was definitely worried starting him and also Holding, who's not fit, but he did not. He's actually earned another start for next time.
Actually, I was on my channel and we had a show, and I told the guys, I told the panel, what if we started Mohamed Elneny? And they told me, Kosi, what are you saying? Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? But he proved us. And this is another time when Mikel Arteta goes for a absolutely shocking lineup, and he shocked everybody with the quality.
Yeah. I wasn't sure about it, but I'm so happy.
Heki Bellerin today, he didn't I don't think he had much work to do defensive wise. I think much of his work was to go forward, complement Willian, which I think he did so well. He tried to bring in a couple of crosses. There is that one where I think Aubameyang should have arrived earlier. If Aubameyang arrived 2 seconds earlier, that should have been a goal. He released him so well. And I think against Rapid Vienna, in our first game against in the Europa League, he released Aubameyang. He set up Aubameyang for the winner. I think he was brilliant today. He looked sharper. Defensive wise, no compliments for him. Not really so much compliments, but in the second half, he dealt very well with Luke Shaw, because I thought Shaw tried to get forward more often in the second half, and I think the discipline going forward, I loved him. I really loved him, especially in the first half. He was really brilliant. I can give him, out of 10, I'll give him a 7.5.
I am not hearing that. Bellerin 9. Let me tell you.
9.
At the start of the season, when we were doing all those transfer videos, everyone would comment, Niles should stay, Bellerin should be the one to go.
Yeah, Bellerin out.
I always said I like Bellerin, I want him to stay. But after that Leicester game, after that, I think it was Sheffield, there's a time he even had 3 foul throws in a match, and I started doubting him. I was like, this silly mistakes he always does. Against Man City, he allowed Foden to come across him. I was like, no, he actually deserves to be dropped. But today, I put him in my starting lineup. I was like, he has to start again. And he did the job. It was not just that Aubameyang chance and that penalty. He won the penalty for us. And also that cross for Saka where he missed that header. He had so many good crosses today. So he created, I think he was, if anything was going to happen, it was going to come from a Bellerin assist. That is how it looked. I think also that Aubameyang chance where it should have been a corner, where he carved it and it went out. I think he's the one who passed to Lacazette. So Bellerin today, very, very good. Going forward, the best I've seen him play in a while going forward. United, Shaw couldn't handle him at all. Bellerin, 9. That's the best performance I've seen him play in a while. So he gets a 9 for today.
I'm going with a 7.5 for Heki Bellerin. I'll go with a slightly different, a slightly higher rating for Bukayo Saka. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. For me, he should have done better than that. Not because he didn't perform badly, or poorly. He was a good player. Did a couple of chances. He plays so well with Tierney and Aubameyang on the left. That is why I want him always to start for Arsenal on the left. He plays so well with Aubameyang, and he plays so well with Aubameyang, and and Tierney down to the left. And today they gave so much, so much work to do for the Manchester United. No, Lindelof and Aaron Bissaka, they can narrate. If it wasn't Saka, it was Aubameyang. Not Aubameyang, Kian Tierney. If it's not Tierney, then Saka is back. I think, I loved it. It reached a time when I was just loving it. And in the first, and at halftime, we were using the left wing more often. It looked like, we were having a laugh. It looked like, because Pogba was playing there and he was, particularly insignificant out. I think, the left wing looked to be easier. Bissaka was, left alone, of course, trying to be helped by Victor Lindelof. But Saka, for me, he should have had a better statistic. He should have had an outstanding statistic like he was at Manchester City. He should have had an assist. He should have scored that free header. He got, I think he needs to work on his finishing, but I'll give him an 8. I'll
give Saka 7.5. I agree, he should have taken those chances. Actually, great that you brought out that point for we were using the left, because in the first half we were using the right more than we've ever had. So this time around, you gave a break to the likes of Saka. But every time Saka has the ball, Tierney, Aubameyang on that wing, you feel like something is going to happen. Saka is that like something can happen here. So the way they played Tierney and Aubameyang, it reminds me of that day we had Ashley Cole, Perez, and Henry on that wing. That's how it looks like these days. So that was brilliant again. But for the chances you'd have taken, there's another chance he had the chance to shoot, but he was trying to cross. So 7.5 for today. I've seen him play better, but again, very, very good performance.
Everybody on the show, thank you for joining us. Make sure you smash the like button. Give us your player ratings for today. Arsenal up against Manchester United. We beat Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Diamond. The front three, one of them scored a penalty. Willian slashed the bar. Willian slashed the bar, man. And Lacazette was,
Did you do Tierney?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we did Tierney.
Oh, I kind of forgot. I don't remember what I gave him. 7. Don't remember giving us.
I gave Tierney. I gave Tierney an 8, and you went with an 8 as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the front three, the three men that were, given the responsibility to get the goals in, to create the chances and break down Manchester United's defense. Aubameyang eventually scores. He's, he has never gone 6 games without a goal at Arsenal, and it was just not going to happen. So it never happened. Lacazette, for me, the way he held up the Manchester United defense, it was only visible that when we went off the pitch, United were free. They were liberated. They felt like it's our time now to get into this game. Maguire pressed on, Lindelof pressed on, Shaw pressed on, everybody pressed on. They were having an easy time. But let us start with Willian. I think his wing with Eki Bellerin was fruitful. They were just fruitful. He was unlucky not to score. He brushed, that ball at halftime. Was it at halftime? Yeah, that brushed the top bar. I think he should have scored that. He should have, if he was lucky, he should have scored that. But he had a nice performance. He had a nice performance, cutting inside, going through to the full width of the game, stretching over. I think I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7 because, like I said, again, what I expect is an important statistic from a player like Willian, but I was not disappointed with his, with his performance. 7.
I was very surprised to see people saying Willian didn't play well. I can see in the chat Omar is saying Willian 6. I don't know what people are talking about. This is another player who has never really played for Arsenal against United. Tierney, Gabriel, Partey. So none of them we can really say that they've been losing to United over the years. And I thought on that right wing, they couldn't handle Willian and Bellerin all the time. Like, they did not have a chance. Like, the combination, maybe that's the combination to go with going forward. I like the way he comes for the ball. He can play on the left. He can play in the middle. Of course, against City, he didn't play well. Of course, against Sheffield, he didn't play well. But today he was one of the reason why we actually did win the game. So
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
energy. So for me, he's going to get a 7.5.
7.5. I
Yeah.
loved the way he was drifting across, the middle, back to the right, to the middle, back to the right, making sure Manchester United defenders were under watch and, you know, creating time for other players to do their own kind of things. Omal Mane, my man, says Willian gets a 6, and he also says Bukayo Saka gets a 7 out of 10. Kalyango Vincent says totally, today Arsenal was so good there. And then Tashi says Elneny was my man of the match. Partey, Gabriel were master class. Shenton says the rating for the referee should be 1, but that was not why we lost. Arsenal was simply better. We shall talk about the referee. And then Vincent says, how are you doing today? We are absolutely so good. How are you, Vincent? Aubameyang scored, but apart from scoring, for me, I think today he had a good game. He got lost against Sheffield, he got lost against City, he got lost against apart from that, cross for Lacazette again, in the West Ham game, he was not so brilliant. But today he engaged in play to an extent that even if he didn't score, you would say, okay, yeah, he didn't score, but we felt his presence. I think his presence was well felt. I thought Aaron Van Bissaka was going to pocket him because Bissaka is literally one of the best right backs in the league. You thought he was going to pocket him. You thought he was going to be totally out of the game because of put out of the game by Aaron Van Bissaka, but that wasn't the case. Actually, he had his he had his game. He was playing with the team, fouling where he needs to foul, tackling where he needed to tackle, making the right decisions, passing at the right time. For me, he was brilliant. He gets the winner. I give him a 9 out of 10.
I agree with you in terms of those other games. In those other games, he was very quiet.
Yeah.
City away, he looked very lost with Willian up front, Willian playing as a striker. I saw him against, I think it was Leicester, looked very lost again. Today, as you've said, even if he didn't score, he would have come out with positive reviews. That chance, they keep showing it on TV, that chance he missed from Bellerin's cross, maybe he should have timed it better. I saw him missing again like that. He should be maybe quicker. He was trying to stay on.
I think he was trying to beat the offside trap.
I can see that. I'm not even sure about him going with the right foot. Should have gone with the left foot, maybe.
Yeah.
So apart from that, there's also that chance Lacazette passed to him. It was going in though. It was a deflection. I think I agree with you, but 9 I think is too high. 9 is in the category of the Gabriels and stuff. So I'll give him 8 for today. But that penalty, even if Arsenal gets a penalty, you're still scared. You're like, will we really score or will he miss? We always have this chance away to Old Trafford, and he still always mess it up. Like I remember he missed a penalty against Tottenham and City. That's why he always concerned, but he has to get an 8.
Ninja Boy says Willian was so good today, and Shenten says Arsenal didn't hurt as much in the wide areas. They just kept overrunning us in the midfield. That is Shenten. And then he says, Omal Mane says Aubameyang gets 8 out of 10. I gave him a 9 there. Okay, Alexander Lacazette.
There was also that pass. I can see that Willian crossbar. It was Aubameyang's pass assist and backflip, like the way he did it.
Yeah. I think he was really involved in action. He was really involved in action. Aubameyang, for me, Lacazette today played a role that was significantly quiet, very quiet. He wasn't quiet, but the role he played was quite quiet on the pitch. Like you needed to know what he's doing for you to understand it. He was holding back, Maguire, because Maguire is one of the ball playing centre backs that are really good, that are pretty good. He was holding back Maguire, making sure that Manchester United doesn't start their attacks with Harry Maguire. Maguire comes on the pitch, he starts getting brighter when Eddie Nketiah is introduced. And I asked myself, Mikel Arteta, Are you joking? Why are you bringing, Edin Ketia this time? We are losing possession. Manchester United are pressuring us. It is close to the to the hour mark. United need an equalizer. We need someone to threaten their defense, not to come forward. And you're bringing Edin Ketia, who is not a threat. For me, he did nothing. Absolutely. Edin Ketia did nothing on that pitch when he came on. I think Mikel Arteta, that was a bad substitution. And although we won, I think I need to criticize him for that. It was a bad substitution to bring on Edin Ketia. I think Lacazette played his thing very well. Very well. Put the energy against them. Always, make sure they feel your presence. Lindelof, Harry Maguire, don't let them come forward. He did that so well. And that's why we battered their midfield, because they couldn't get support from the defense. And they found themselves, they found their midfield isolated. So we could actually mark them out and, just make them trash. For me, Lacazette, if he continues playing like that, he's going to get the chances. There was that chance he got, and, he was already swinging. He was already swinging, He thought, if Victor Lindelof didn't
touch the ball,
if he didn't snitch a foot in it, that should have been 1-0. But it was going to be a blockbuster.
Yeah, I agree. That Lacazette, also that chance for Willian again is the one who won the ball back. Also that chance he created for Aubameyang where he just went out. He's the one who took the ball from Fred and he gave it to. Yeah. So he always, at least today, didn't pick up those silly yellow cards he usually picks up. But
but he got the fouls. And I love it for him. I love him for it. A striker who gets, who bangs the defenders, get yellow cards, get the fouls. He creates that that atmosphere that defenders hate a lot. He's a nightmare. He's a nightmare for defenders.
It reminds me of Diego Costa, where the defender just gets frustrated with him.
Exactly. And let me tell you this: if he was indisciplined, he would actually be more ridiculous to defenders.
Yeah, I can see a 5.5 in the chat. Absolutely no way.
Omar Mane says a 5.5, but for me, I'm going to give him a 7.5. His role today against Manchester United, you might not see it, like I said. You might say he didn't score. You might say he didn't get, one-on-one chances. You might say he didn't shoot a lot. But his role today was to make sure that Manchester United defenders were kept in their, kennels, locked up in their kennels. And he was the key. He was the key to the kennels. He held the key. He protected it well. And when Mikel Arteta pulled him off, the kennels were unlocked. Manchester United possessed the game, and the added 4 minutes felt like 90 minutes for me. What do you think about Lacazette?
For me, always, of course, the chances that he's been missing recently, you have to agree with the accusations he comes across. And but the work he does, I was also so surprised that Nketiah came in for him, because I did not see what he was coming to do. What would have done, maybe Aubameyang up front, and then you throw in maybe Niles or Pepe, someone on the right or left. But that Nketiah did not work. I would even cut Lacazette for the 90 minutes. He worked very hard. I'd tell Omar to go back and watch that game again and just see Lacazette's performance. If you don't focus, you'll just see him swinging the boot and be like, oh, that's so comedic. Why did he miss that? But overall work, very, very good. Picking the ball from midfield, giving it to Aubameyang, picking it up, giving it to Willian. So much good play today. And he's always lively. There's no game that you'll say Lacazette was quiet. I don't think so. So
I loved it. Starting the counterattacks when we had to. I think that was his. That was his. For me, that was his best moment. You start the counterattacks, look for Aubameyang, look for Willian, run around, make Manchester United fail to to focus on who to get on. Wow, what a performance! But let's get to the substitutions. Edin Ketia gets on, for me, gets an average 5 out of 10. Literally, there is nothing he did.
Yeah, I guess he gets a 5, nothing. No even need of talking about him.
Yeah, really nothing. I was I wasn't subsidized. Ainsley Madanaz, do you think when he came on, he did any difference? I think I'm gonna give him a flat 5 again.
Standard 5 again, yeah.
Yeah, standard 5. Who was the other substitution?
Mustafi 10. Mustafi 10. Just for coming on, and there's a ball he headed out. 10 for Mustafi. Man of the match. Man of the match, Mustafi. I love him. But thank goodness he did not start that game, because he's always very nervous. And if you look at Mustafi's face, he always looks like someone who doesn't care what cause he says, doesn't care what DT says. He's just like, I'm just playing. He doesn't care. So he's going to get a standard 5 also like that. No one was really on. I loved the fact that we took out every single striker and put in defenders. I love that.
But that's Mikel Arteta for you. And do you know that Squadron Mustafi had to start that game if Rob Holding wasn't fit?
Yeah, I knew, and I was very, very scared. I couldn't see us keeping a clean sheet. Rashford would have run around him very badly. So for today, thank goodness he didn't start. Let's see how he does against Molde in the middle of the week. I'm sure he'll start that one. But for the Premier League today, he gets a 5.
Mikel Arteta, let us cross over to Mikel Arteta. He got the tactics right. He got the lineup right. I don't know what he told the players, but they stuck to the game plan. His game plan was absolutely correct. Don't let Manchester United play. Whenever they have the ball, especially at halftime, whenever United got close to the ball, they faced it rough. Whenever they got close to the ball, they faced it rough. And they were like, hell, this is so frustrating. Even in the second half, when they came back, they looked like a better side. Just for 7 minutes, their game was over. Arsenal took the show. For me, I don't know why he played Elneny. I don't know whether it was because of training. I don't know whether he had a bad dream or a good dream over Elneny, but he was brilliant. Mikel Arteta, masterclass, Messiah. Mikel at the wheel, Mikel Simeone, Mikel Guardiola, Mikel Hansi Flick. Wow, this boy just keeps on surprising me. I think for me, we have given credit to all the players, but today you felt like we were playing in some kind, in some certain way. We're playing some kind of football. We're playing with a strategy. We are playing with, instructions from the manager. I don't know if you saw it.
The thing I'd say that Arteta, he came under so much scrutiny. The subs have been really all over the place, and starting Willian up front, starting Aubameyang on the right last week, starting Ketia on the left against Rapid Vienna. Strange decisions, but we've never beaten Man U since 2006. He's done it. He beat Chelsea, he beat City, he beat Liverpool 3 times. All this in the space of 3 months. And remember, he also beat United in January. So 2 games against United is won. He beat Wolves away, beat Sheffield United away. All these teams that we struggled with. So I know we've lost. Plus, do you know which team has the best defensive record in England right now in the Premier League? Arsenal. We've only conceded 7 goals. There's no other team. We have the best defensive record in the league. That's because even when you lose, you're losing 1-0. Yes, we're not scoring that many, but we have the best defensive record. So he's definitely making something right. Elneny, as you said, Elneny is looking good. Elneny is actually playing box-to-box mid. Mohamed Elneny, Besiktas loan last season, and he's playing well. Bellerin played well again. Xhaka's improved. I like the way he can tweak the lineup. If you're not playing well, you can be on the bench. Lacazette can be on the bench. Pepe can be on the bench. Willian can be on the bench. Ceballos. He doesn't care about anyone. So for today, that sub though, I'm doubting it. So I'm going to drop 0.5 from that. I'm going to give him 9.5. First win away.
9.5. I'll give him a 9. I think obviously with the performance in the midweek, he needed to reward Pepe. He needed to show him that he's important to us. He's important to the squad in some way. And I wasn't impressed. I wasn't really impressed. Willian was good, but at some point in time, I thought Pepe was going to come on. I thought he was going to reward Pepe, even if it was not for for purposes of Pepe doing anything at Manchester United, but I thought he was going to reward him because I don't want Pepe to feel this kind of distance between him and the manager or him and the side, because it might actually cost us, a player. For me, I think has great potential and could be the future of Arsenal. So 9 out of 10, I think it was absolutely on point. The referee, someone says we should rate the referee. Fred had to get a red card. Rob Holding, it's debatable because for me, I'm sure of Fred and Gabriel Magalhaes. But also, when you talk about the red card, then Rob Holding is thrown into the mix. The referee, how do you rate his refereeing today, officiation?
The first 15 minutes, I was saying 10. That moment where who got the yellow card for Manu in the first 10 minutes? Was it Fred? He fouled and he gave him the yellow card. So I was like, Mike Dean has actually booked someone in our side, like he's actually helped Arsenal. But then Holding, yellow card, Gabriel, one foul, yellow card, you're like, And then he gave us a penalty away at Old Trafford to the penalty kings, Manu. He gave us a penalty.
Which was not the clearest of penalties, because even if he denied it, he would have a reason. He should have said maybe there was no contact or he was foul. He would have an excuse because he wasn't in front of him. But I don't know why he.
Mike Dean likes getting involved in the game. I don't know if you know that. There's a time we were trying to counter attack and he blocked the ball. He likes getting involved in the game. If I was watching it as a Chelsea fan or as a Liverpool fan, I'd give him a 6 for today. He's shocking. It should have been a red card for Gabriel. Should have been a red card for Fred. Penalty, yes. Blocking the ball. I don't know. Some silly yellow cards he had to give away. So 6 for today. I'm giving him a 6. Probably one of the best I've seen him performing. I was scared when I saw the referee.
As an Arsenal fan, I'll give him a 6.5. I think his officiation was okay, and the fact that he tried to make to keep that game balanced, I think he handled it very well. The penalty, that was it was really a stupid tackle from Pogba. This guy is ahead of you. You cannot get to the ball. You can't get to the ball, and then you make such a stupid tackle. For me, his Dean is not to blame. Maumane says the referee gets an 0.5. I do not agree. I really do not agree. But my player ratings, that is it. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to cross over to Glenn's channel. It's called Everything Arsenal, right?
Yeah, I'll comment.
Just comment the channel or the link.
Yeah, there it is, Glenn Kitely, Everything Arsenal. Okay,
so we are crossing over to his channel for the match reaction and the player rating. So make sure you catch us. It has been very good to have you guys. Glenn Kitely, Everything Arsenal. That's the channel. Look for it. We are coming there in a few. So we're coming. 100 people watching. Smash for me the like button. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss such content, because I always bring on a panel and of Arsenal fans, even non-Arsenal fans. That is how the Arsenal podcast is. I do match reactions. I do match previews. I do everything. So Glenn, let us just end this at this, because it was just getting exciting. But let us end it at that and cross over to the big Everything Arsenal channel.
Awesome.